So everyone, as part of the Rags to Wag show, I'm gonna do these quick little snippets of just either business or life experience, information, lessons that I think are just very poignant and significant. And I just wanna share them with you guys. So the first that I'm going to share, it's interesting because I've just kind of learned this and developed this over time from experience. I have family members that no matter what you do for them, no matter what you give to them, some people are just like incapable of saying thank you. And I believe that that's like, it's a little bit of a handicap. You know, people don't really realize how much that is harmful in the interaction of somebody giving, adding value, or making deposits, and then not even being recognized or feeling any degree of gratitude for doing those things. And so I think we all have experiences like that in our life with people. And likely if you sat down and thought about it, you could probably pinpoint a few people like that in your life that no matter what, for some reason they just are incapable of gratitude. They're incapable of just saying thank you and taking a compliment or taking a gesture or a kindness or a deposit somehow, right? So let me just tell you what I've learned about that. This is the lesson of being a gracious receiver. Now let me tell you why it's so important to be a gracious receiver in life. One, it's a skill, okay? Two, when you go out of your way to make an effort to be able to give something to somebody, maybe that's a tangible item, a present, maybe that's a service, maybe that's your time, maybe that's a talent, effort, maybe that's you leveraging your resources for somebody that needs it. Maybe it's just a simple compliment like, hey, you look great today, or I love your jeans, or you know, this food is fantastic. Those are all just really small and easy examples, but they happen every day in our life. If you're on the other end of that compliment or deposit, and your reaction is this, when somebody says, hey, you look great today. Oh no, I look terrible. I look fat today. How good does the person that gave you that compliment feel? They feel like hell. It was not received. There was no gratitude at all. Matter of fact, they feel like the deposit didn't even go in the bank. So when you get those kind of things, or for instance, like one of the things that I love to do, and anybody that's a close friend of mine, they know this about me. When we go to dinner, pretty much anywhere with anyone, it's like a game for me to be the first guy that can get my credit card to the waitress or the waiter. And I usually pretend to go to the restroom, go up, get them my credit card so that it's taken care of. And usually at the end of the night, we're all finishing up and everybody's like kind of waiting for the bill. They're asking for a waiter. Hey, can we get the bill? And the waiter comes over and they say, hey, it's all taken care of. And then they look at me and I'd sign the bill and whatever else. And everybody, and there's two types of people at the table. There's gracious receivers that say, hey, Aaron, thank you very much. You know, that was really nice of you, or I appreciate that. And then there's the other type of people. And sometimes they're not both at the table. It's just one or the other, right? It's the person that says, oh, you didn't have to. I could have got my own. You shouldn't have done that. Like that's kind of an underhanded compliment, but I'm telling you right now, I'm teaching you this lesson because if you don't realize you're doing this, you need to fucking stop doing it because it's rude and it's messed up. When somebody does something nice for you, you don't say you didn't need to do that. Well, let me teach you a lesson. No shit, Sherlock Holmes, he didn't need to do that. Nobody needed to pay for your meal. Nobody needed to tell you look great today. Nobody needed to pick the trash out of your yard. But if they do, and they make the effort to do that because it's important for them, then thank them and acknowledge that it was a really nice thing of them to do. Instead of, you didn't need to do this, I could have got it myself. Yeah, we all know that. So if you think that's acknowledging something nice that somebody's done for you by saying, oh, you didn't need to, or I could have got that. That's not the proper way. Being a gracious receiver means looking the person in the eyes and telling them, thank you. That's nice of you to say that. I appreciate those things. You know, that's meaningful. it means a lot to me. That is the art of being a gracious receiver. And I didn't really know how important that point was until actually we were at dinner, and one of my close friends, Andy Frisilla and Ed Milet, Sean Whalen, we were all at dinner in St. Louis. And I picked up the tab, and a couple of the guys, including Ed and Andy, they both were kind of like, Andy had actually learned this lesson from me previously, but Ed, I think specifically, was like, hey, bro, you didn't need to do that. And it was well-intentioned, but Andy, because I had just taught him this lesson literally a month before at a dinner that we were at, he looked over at Ed and he said, Ed, Aaron, you got to teach him your gracious receivers lesson. And Ed immediately grasped it. Matter of fact, he pulled his phone out and he put it in his phone because he just liked, the concept that well. But that kind of illustrated to me that this was a concept that a lot of people needed to learn. And, like I said, I got family, in-laws that, like, no matter what you say to them, how complimentary you can be, they'll kind of like, and it's not that they're rude or mean, it's just they're insecure. They don't want to take the compliment. They'll deflect compliments all the time. You might have a spouse. You might have a girlfriend that you tell in the morning, hey, you look beautiful, honey. And she's like, no, I look terrible. These pants don't look good on me. And it's like, she just stepped on it, And so if you're listening to this and you're the person that just deflects and steps on other people's compliments, then realize what you're doing and how that makes the other party feel. Learn to be a gracious receiver. The reason that it's so important to be that is because there's people in this world, like myself, that my significance or my happiness and my satisfaction in life is giving, is doing for people. Like, it's my love language. And so if you won't say thank you or just acknowledge it, then you're not allowing me to even give my gift. You're not allowing me to even speak my language, my love language. And there's a lot of people like me. And so I hope the next time that you get a compliment that you receive a gesture or a random act of kindness or whatever the case may be, that you'll acknowledge it sincerely, you'll receive it graciously, and you'll make that person feel good about something they've given to you. And that's that. Today's rant. Rags to wags.